If you haven't already, check out the other installments in this series. As soon as I finished typing up the post, it dawned on me that the clock had stopped ticking. I scrambled over to my desk and got under it. Just as I slipped my head under the desk, I caught a view of the platform. My sister's body got up like nothing had happened and stared blankly ahead. Shadows from the station twisted and curled into weird sorts of silhouettes. I wasn't gonna break another rule, so I tore my eyes off the sight and hid under the desk. I checked the time on my watch. 4:30 a.m. I only had 30 minutes left before my shift ended. I nearly jumped in pure ecstasy. Finally, this nightmare is over. Finally, I could go home and check on my sister. The clock started its rhythmic ticking again, and I pulled myself out from under the desk. I checked my watch again. 5 a.m. Wait, hold up. How did 30 minutes pass so fast? Just then I remembered the rule. All my timekeeping devices may show the time differently to trick me. That meant I had to wait in my booth and not come out till it's morning and I see people coming into the station. I scanned the camera feed for anything new, making sure not to look at camera 4, which was conveniently set away from all the other cameras. Then the worst possible thing happened. I saw myself staring at me from camera 2. I had a painful grin on my face. My eyes were so wide open, I swear they could have popped out of my sockets at any moment. Before I broke another rule, I quickly tore away my eyes from the disturbing sight and came face to face with my twin, staring at me from outside the booth. I jumped to the door and pushed for dear life. Luckily the door opens inwards, so it was much easier for me to hold the door. I only had to push. My twin battered itself onto the door repeatedly. Big, bulky thuds shook my whole body. My twin's shoulders started to get bloody, but he continued unfazed. I could feel myself getting pushed further and further back every time he rammed into the door. I was not going to be able to hold the door for any longer. I quickly picked up my handgun from the desk and turned the safety off. As soon as my twin moved back and got ready to ram in through the door, I aimed my gun at the door. My mind took over me at that moment. Adrenaline pushed through my body and my heart rate was high as ever. My demented twin pushed through the door and fell on the floor. I shot 3 rounds straight in his head and neck. I jumped past his body and sprinted onto the tracks. Demented me got up again and ran towards me at lightning speed. I jumped off the platform onto the tracks, and the last thing I remembered was hearing my demented twin's ragged breaths right behind me and the crushing impact of my body on the metal tracks. I woke up with a dull pain throbbing through my forehead. I tried to get up and felt even more pain in my knees and my left wrist. How long have I been passed out for? I had lost all track of time. I crawled across the tracks to the far wall of the subway station and slumped against it. My foggy mind cleared and all the memories of this hellish place came rushing back. I looked around the dark as ever subway station for any more threats. My demented twin has thankfully disappeared. I had the subway station all to myself again. I was bruised all over, and I had definitely broken something in both my knees. I had a deep gash on my forehead. My left wrist was definitely broken, and it was severely swollen. I could not move it without feeling intense pain. The adrenaline rush had long worn off, and I felt defeated and extremely tired. If I was going to die here, I wanted to die in peace at least. The screen was cracked into 1,000,000 pieces, and it would not turn on. My watch was still working surprisingly, although the glass was also cracked. 4:05 a.m. I had no idea if this was the actual time or not. Either way, I was pretty much unable to get onto the high platform again and walk out of the subway station. I couldn't call for help, which I just realized. Why the hell did I not call the police as soon as I broke the first rule, so they could get me out of here? I had made several poor choices along the way, and now I am here, ready to die on the tracks. Suddenly a woman with a deep black umbrella walked into the station. She was facing away from me and looked confused. "Hey, can you call more people? I'm stuck in here, please, I need help," I desperately spoke out. Shit. I realized too late as the woman turned around. There we go. I just broke another rule. She turned around and gasped as she saw me. She came closer. I guess that's the final rule I'd ever break, I thought, letting the creature do whatever it wanted. Surprisingly, the woman asked me if I was okay, and told me to stay put and wait until she got the ambulance here. Then she picked up her phone and started calling. I was only able to mumble a thanks before I passed out again. I guess I got very lucky. I had pretty much broken every single rule on that list and still survived. I returned home and thankfully my sister was still alive. I told my family I fell down the stairs of the subway station to explain my injuries, which they are definitely not buying. But then again, I don't want to tell them about the rules, or they'll think the head trauma has made me crazy. Today, I received a text on my phone. "Congratulations. You have been promoted to work as a night guard on our only night train. We have also sent a sum of $100,000 to your bank account as pay for your first shift. We hope to see you for your next shift in 2 weeks' time. I have decided to work on the night train. I will share my experiences soon." Thank you for listening. If you like what you heard, check out another episode or series, or consider subscribing. If you have a story you'd like narrated, contact me on Twitter, which is in the description below.